The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions in the past, present, and or future. And because someone forgot to actually play the first round of the golf tournament they were supposed to stream today, and because we had a request for some Tigers baseball, it's a decade duel day, and we will actually get to, maybe next week, we'll see, for the golf. We go to Arnold Palmer's Palace in Bay Hill for the next golf tournament, but that's not it. This is a decade duel between the mid-80s Tigers, 83 to 87 versions, so the 84 and 87 American League East champions, versus this first run of Toronto Blue Jays great teams. The Blue Jays had a very good decade, and so it was broken up into two. I went with the 83 to 87 version of this. So you have the 85 division champions, what should have been probably the 87 division champions for Toronto. Shh. It's okay, Detroit, you still won 87, against these great Tiger teams. If it was like the Yankees and the Royals a decade earlier, this would have been one of the fiercest rivalries in all of sports, let alone baseball. These two teams really were the best of the American League for a long, long time during the decade. Forget that the Orioles broke through in 83 and the Red Sox broke through in 86. And again, we're talking in this 5-year stretch, these two teams produced 3 of the 5 division winners. Kind of like when we did the Cardinals and the Mets. Everyone, the Blue Jays could make a case for a big run, and of course the Tigers won the World Series in 84 and won the division in 87. And then ran into the Metrodome. Anyway, all for naught. So that's what you got today. It is Jack Morris versus Dave Stieb. Again, pull out your Smurfs, your game of the week, and maybe your diet beverage of choice. And let's get to it. It's baseball next here on Retro Sports Network. As Retro Sports Network presents Decade Duels today from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan. It is the mid-80s Tigers and the mid-80s Toronto Blue Jays. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. John and Dave, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. It is 40 degrees and cloudy in Burlington. It is 71 degrees and raining in Tiger Town as we get set for this. Yeah, don't get me started on Mr. John Henry and the way that team is run. Good for Bogarts. He and Orsello can have a good time out there in San Diego. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Again, speaking of the Red Sox in 86, kind of chunked up as I said in the open, what should have been one of the biggest rivalries in all of sport. So you get Jack Morris for the Tigers as soon as it opens up, and we're going to pretend it's the 1986 version of him. 31 years old, fastball at 91, and a fly ball pitcher. And remember, these are 2-year slices of these players, so it's not his exact 86 numbers, but 20 and 10 in the sim with a 3.31 earned run average, 266 and 2/3, 228 hits, 40 home runs. Holy Max Scherzer, Batman. 87 walks and 217 strikeouts. And this will be the lineup that Morris will face from the 83-87 Jays. Damaso Garcia leads off at second. Lloyd Mosby in center will bat second. George Bell in left goes third. Jesse Barfield, hopefully he won't do what he did in the playoffs and not hit, cleans up and right. Willie Upshaw at first bats fifth. Ernie Witt behind the plate goes sixth. Rance Mulliniks gets the call at third. I had the choice of Mulliniks or Kelly Gruber. And Gruber just didn't hit until later on, so you get Mulliniks there. Dave Collins, who stole 46 bases, is a DH, and if you want to go with Tony Fernandez in the 9-hole, I'll go with Tony Fernandez in the 9-hole at short. You'll take an Ernie Harwell impression today. John Sterling is as enjoyable as a toothache while listening to the greatest hits of Nails on a Chalkboard. I couldn't resist to do the My Mr. Magoo, as John Sterling the other day. I'll try to work in some Ernie. Actually, you know, the first time I really listened to Ernie was in the 87 ALCS. We had no cable, we had no power. We were waiting for the house that where my mom lives now, to come. And it was all radio. And so WJR 760 came in beautiful at night, and it was Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey that described those games in Minnesota. And they were just stunned. You could tell. Dave says he thought it was fiscally responsible to pass on Bogaerts, especially with the Yankees dropping $100 million on 3 players. Long term should pay off, yes. You know, let me introduce the Tiger defense for you, and then I'm going to say politely why I think you're wrong there. Larry Herndon, by the way, is 7 and a 5, and left Chet Lemon a 9 and a 5 in center. Kirk Gibson is a 6 and a 5 in right. Darnell Coles is a 4 at third. Alan Trammell an 8 at short. Lou Whitaker a 9 at second. Darrell Evans gets the call at first because Matt Noakes makes better sense as a DH. Lance Parrish a 10 and an 8 behind the plate. And Morris is a 6 on the mound with a .981 fielding percentage. As Garcia dries off his bat in the rain, 71 degrees here in Tiger Town. Wind blowing in from left center at 16. The Red Sox make almost no effort, none, to re-sign their own players. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars in bad contracts with other people's talent. Again, you can't foresee the injuries on Chris Sale, but they take these other free agents and make almost no effort or lowball their own. You seriously don't think the Red Sox had the money to keep Mookie Betts? Or John Lester? I think the Red Sox seem to forget that we grow attached to the players and to make an effort to do it, and the Red Sox cheapen out when it comes to their own talent. I mean, John Henry swore up and down that they would re-sign Lester in the offseason. Lester was one of the big parts of the Cubs winning the World Series. So, no, if that's what the market bears, then that's what it bears. And, you know, it's frustrating. Outside, you think of the 4 World Series that this ownership group has brought, but they have not brought a lot of love to themselves. And the way that they trash players as they leave town and not keep their own talent, it bothers me a great deal. Anyway, there, ran over. Garcia, 295, 4 homers, and 42 RBI. He drops one down. That's going to be a good bunt. Coles will pick it up and just eats it. So Garcia, well, throws to first, but Garcia with good speed. In fact, I believe that's an error. He should have just ate it, and instead it's an E5. Coles should have just held on to that ball, and he threw it past Darrell Evans. And so Garcia moves to second for Mosby at 297, 18 homers, and 86 RBI. You can't blame Bogaerts for what he wanted. But at some point, you got to keep your own talent. I mean, the Yankees did. The Judge turned down less money to stay in New York. Anyway, pitch to Mosby. Ball 4. So runners on first and third. Pitch got away from Parrish. Morris already pitching to the scoreboard, and we haven't even gotten a 1 out yet. Here's George Bell, 308, 39 homers, and 121 RBI. Devers is going to walk. I don't think that ownership gets it. They're worried about the sale of Liverpool. They bought the Pittsburgh Penguins. You know, I think it's tough because of what this ownership group has done as far as bringing winners and redoing Fenway and a lot of good things. But I just have never gotten a sense that they quite get what the fans want them to do. as long as it's responsible. And I don't, lowballing your stars is not responsible. Pitch to Bell. There goes Mosby. Ground ball to Morris. He'll go to first. Evans is there. They get the out. And Garcia held. So it was a comebacker to Morris. And Mosby was just motoring all the way. So 1 out for Barfield. 289, 34 homers, and 96 RBI. And there's a fly ball, left center field. Lemon and Herndon go way back there. And Barfield puts one in the upper deck. And it's 3-0 Blue Jays. Aren't you glad that the Tiger fans were asking me to do a Tiger stream? Barfield crushed that one. My goodness. Morris got too much of the plate there. And Barfield, oh my goodness, did he ever latch onto that one. So 1 out for Upshaw. The chat is now very quiet. 293 for Willie, 23 homers and 94 RBI. Morris down 3-0. There's a ground ball up the middle, and Lemon will pick it up for a single. So here's Ernie Witt. Morris has thrown all of 14 pitches in this game. And he's on the wrong end of a 3-0 score. Witt, 257, 18 homers, and 60 RBI. There's a ground ball up the middle. Trammell, Whittaker for 1, and Evans for 2. So that double play combination, which both should be in Cooperstown, gets him out of the inning, but not before Jesse Barfield with a 3-run jam shot into the upper deck and left center. After 3 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error, it's the Jays 3, the Tigers coming up. And look, since I'm not using the 85 photo pack, we found a picture of Dave Stieb with a mullet. We're using 84 Stieb here, or thereabouts. 26 years old. Fastball tops out at 92, 15-10 with a 2.67 ERA, 266 1/3 innings, 211 hits, 20 home runs, 92 walks, and 182 RBI. Lineup he'll face: Alan Trammell leads off at short, Lou Whittaker at second, bats second. Darrell Evans, the first baseman, goes third. A lot of lefties in this lineup. It'll be Kirk Gibson in right, cleaning up. Lance Parrish behind the plate, fifth. Chet Lemon in center will bat sixth. Matt Noakes, the DH, will bat seventh. Larry Herndon in left goes third, and Darnell Cole, Herndon in left bats eighth, and Darnell Coles at third bats ninth. And Morris threw 18 pitches in his half of the first. Defensively for Toronto, George Bell a 5 and a 7 in left, Lloyd Mosby a 9 and a 7 in center, and Jesse Barfield a 9 and a 10 in right. Rance Melinik's a 4 at third, Tony Fernandez a 9 at short, Damaso Garcia a 5 at second, Upshaw an 8 at first, Ernie Witt a 5 and an 8 behind the plate, and Steve is an 8 on the mound with a 960 fielding percentage. Trammell at 311, 24 homers, and 90 RBI. And Steve starts his effort with a ground ball to short. Fernandez over to Upshaw, 1 out. Again, a very quiet chat now. Here's Whittaker. Lou at 307, 12 homers, and 64 RBI. Steve rocks and deals, and there's a ground ball over the mound. Garcia had to play it off a weird hop, throws to first for the out, 2 away. So here's Darrell Evans. Darrell at 249, 32 homers, and 92 RBI. Steve kicks and fires, and there's a fly ball to right. A lot of foul territory here in Detroit, and Barfield will make the catch. By the bullpens, no runs, no hits, no errors. After one, Jays 3, Tigers nothing. So, wow. A rather skinny picture of Rance Mulliniks with glasses. And much later, I forgot, since it's no longer the 85 replay, that I'm not using the 85 photo pack. Mulliniks at 299, 6 homers and 45 RBI. Morris starts the second with a ground ball to Evans, and he'll take it to first himself. How you doing, Buckshot Kid? So one out for Dave Collins, who I forgot played for the Angels. I remember him with the Reds. 289, 2 homers, and 39 RBI. Stole 46 bases? Blue Jays had some speed. And he struck him out. He got him on an 0-2 fastball on the inside corner. And so, in fact, he stood there like a barn on the side of the road. There's your bad Ernie Harwell impression. Here's Tony Fernandez. Tony at 316, 8 homers, 8 triples, and 66 RBI. And there's a little looper that's going to get down over Trammell for a base hit. So Fernandez is on first, 4th hit for the Jays. Here's Garcia. Damaso singled and scored to start the game sometime during the middle of my rant. Morris opening 9 on just 24 pitches. Normally that sounds good, but an inning and 2/3. 4 hits, a 3-run shot to Barfield, a walk and a strikeout. Fernandez stays put. Garcia strikes out. He got him in there at the knees. No runs, a hit, and they'll leave a runner on. Bottom of the second here in Tiger Town. 3-0 Jays. So it'll be Gibson, Parrish, and Lemon. You could tell, speaking of Ernie Harwell, that he had worked in New York. He worked for the Dodgers for a while. Or the Giants. He was a Giants announcer. In fact, he was on NBC television when Bobby Thompson hit the home run. Someone had the reel-to-reel recorder out to get Russ Hodges supposedly crying when the Dodgers were going to beat the Giants in Game 3 of the 51 NL playoff. And that's the only reason why the Giants win the pennant was preserved. Someone else was recording Red Barber doing Game 3, or the end of Game 3, but no one had the reel-to-reel for Ernie doing the game on the first coast-to-coast game ever live on national television. Pitch to Gibby. Struck him out. That's the first for Steve. A 1-2 curve. Swung on and missed. So Ernie always claimed it was him and Lulu, his wife, were the only ones that remembered that he did that game on national television. But you could just tell from some of the way that Ernie pronounced his words and that sweet Georgia accent of his that there was some New York in there as well. Here's Parrish. Lance at 253, 30 homers, and 106 RBI. And, of course, if you have a copy of APA Baseball for Windows, I believe even the new ones have Ernie as a voice still. Someone will tell me if that's not the case. Pitch to Parrish. Struck him out. So Steve got him a 1-2 fastball just below the belt. He looked at it. Here's Lemon. Chet 272, 22 homers, and 72 RBI. Steve kicks and fires. Lemon hits a ground ball to third. Mulliniks across the way. Lemon has wheels, and he is safe. He beat out the bang-banger. Mulliniks did not have good range, and Lemon still could run. Here's Matt Noakes. as a DH. He was the Tigers catcher that replaced Lance Parrish. 289, 16 homers, 44 RBI. Kind of in that reign of like a Marty Barrett or a Jody Reed. You know, fans of the team are going to remember how good Matt Noakes was, but not going to get a lot of love outside of the immediate fandom. Pitch to Noakes. Fly ball right field. Barfield over in the corner. And that will retire the side. Tigers get a hit, and that's it. They leave a runner on. We go to third. 3-0 Toronto. So Mosby, Bell, and Barfield to face Morris here in the third. And in fact, it really is how Harwell kind of pronounced it, Morris, as opposed to Morris, the cat. Mosby walked and scored on the Barfield homer. Struck him out. That's 3 for Jack. He got him on a 1-2 fastball swinging. Brings up George Jerry Curl Bell. George is 0 for 1. Little fly ball in the shallow left center. Herndon rides the Schwinn, makes the catch, 2 out. For Barfield, who hit the 3-run homer, his first time up. Tigers let Lance Parrish go to free agency because they had high hopes for Noakes. He had a monster 87, but that was about, yeah, this is 87 there. And again, if that series starts in Detroit, I think it's a whole nother ballgame. You never want to say the team that won a World Series was a fluke, because you got to win 8 games, and that's not easy for anybody. In fact, the World Series, I think that was the first one, the Twins and the Cardinals, that the home team won all 7 games. Pitch to Barfield. There's a little looper in the left. That's going to drop. You mean the trade for Duel Alexander, essentially for Duel Alexander? Great move. What did he go, 8-0, 9-0 down the stretch? And then was traded for a player to be named later. Duel Alexander. Here's Willie Upshaw. He singled his first time up. Runner on first, 2 out in the third. John must be happy about Trey Turner. And Upshaw puts that one in the left center field. That's going to drop. Lemon will pick it up. Oh, Smoltz. And Barfield goes to third. I think that worked out for Atlanta, too. Skip Carey would say so. But I thought, didn't Alexander go back to Atlanta in 88? Here's Ernie Witt. Grounded into a double play his first time up. Barfield on third, Upshaw on first. Fly ball, right center field. Lemon, and that ball is gone. You give up 40 homers, and you're going to get burnt. That's the second one for the Tigers today, or for the Blue Jays today, and it's 6-0. A little birdie tells me that Morris may be auditioning for a spot on the Blue Jays roster in the near future. All right, well, we've had enough of Jack. We're going to go with Dan Petrie. Phil's checked all the boxes so far. Starting pitcher, yep. Shortstop with speed, you're going to love Trey Turner. I loved covering him in Washington. And a left-handed relief pitcher. Very happy so far. So Petrie, circa 84. 25 years old, a fly ball pitcher, and the fastball tops out at 88. 17 and 10, a 328 earned run average. 236 innings, 210 hits. 22 homers, 74 walks, and 126 strikeouts. Rance is 0 for 1. And he got him. He got him in there at the knees. And Petrie gets out of it. But not before Morris gives up another 3-run homer. This time to Ernie Witt. 2.5 in the books. It's the Jays 6, the Tigers nothing. So Herndon, Coles, and Trammell to face Steve here in the third. Larry at 293, 14 homers and 68 RBI. And Herndon draws the walk. So here's Coles, Darnell at 254, 12 homers and 51 RBI. So that's another walk, ball 4, full count. And so the Tigers got something cooking here in the third. Here's Trammell, he's 0 for 1. Steve opening 9, 42 pitches, 2+ innings, a hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. There's a ground ball up the middle, might be 2. Garcia, fantastic stop, only play is to first, and Trammell's retired. So deep behind the bag, Garcia using all of his range to get the out. So 1 out for Whittaker, who is 0 for 1. By the way, we hope to reschedule our digital device guest on Sunday night. Spam filters sometimes work the wrong way. Just leave it at that. Pitch to Whittaker. Lou swings a little chopper down to first. Upshaw will take it to first himself. Herndon's going to score. 2 out, and it's 6-1. So here's Darrell Evans, who's 0 for 1. Pesky pull, by the way. Spent all of his kids' Christmas money instead of on new Crocs. On to ASG Golf, wink, wink. I'm glad he's having fun with that. I wish the seasons for that weren't so expensive. It's $30 a pop for those. Pitch to Evans. Darrell hits this one into right center field. That ball is well struck. Way back there. That's Reggie Jackson territory. That's in the second deck. And it's 6-3. Evans took out his driver there and drove Miss Daisy into right center. And all Barfield could do was turn and watch it go. It's 6-3. Just bought the 60 season, Arnie versus Jack. You like the quick play in that? Wow. And the wind's blowing in from left center at 16, by the way. Some absolute moonshots here. And the Tigers get a couple back here in the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. Again, another bad Ernie Harwell impression. So here's Gibby. He struck out his first time up. 6-3 now. The Tigers are back in it. And Gibson gets hit. Gibson and Steve. Gibson got hit in the head. And so Gibson and Steve bark at each other. Here's Parrish. Lance is 0 for 1. He struck out. I think Evans just did a little more of a walk there than he needed to. Why is he only credited with 2 RBI? Mike says, I like it for all the regular tournaments. I'm going to buy the courses for all the majors. Okay. Augusta. Cherry Hills was the U.S. Open. Where were the other 2 that year? John had to look this up because he couldn't remember the name, but in July of 2000, the Phillies traded for Rob Ducey with Toronto for a player to be named later. In August, they sent him back to Toronto to complete the trade. Hopefully Rob didn't look for too much real estate in Atlantic City. So Parrish 0 for 1. Throw to first. Oh, Gibson and Steve. Oh, St. Andrews and Firestone. Okay. Well, St. Andrews yet and Firestone. Technically Firestone South. Yeah, you can use it in 99 for the World Series of Golf. Pitch to Parrish, and he walked him. And so Steve is kind of flipped the cheese a bit off his cracker after the home run. Here's Lemon. He singled his first time up. So first and second, 2 out. Lemon up the middle. That's going to be a good play by Fernandez. He takes it to the bag himself at second, and that will retire the side. But 3 runs on a hit, no errors, a near fight. And after 3, it's the Jays 6, the Tigers 3. So here's Collins, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Fernandez and Garcia, as Petrie is in relief of Jack Morris. Collins into left center, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. He had to run in a long way, but he made the catch, 1 out. Here's Fernandez, who singled. Let me say this about playing all the greats at once. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for the fact that, A, I made my card too good. But I think it kind of works for that project because my scoring average is like low, it's high 67. And I don't want to do something where I'm dominating on tour. Although the all-time greats turned Harbor Town into limbo. How low could you go? Fernandez singled his first time up, by the way. And Pesky Pole is going to buy... Yeah, you should buy Pebble Beach. Future majors, and it's a regular stop on... Yep. Although the open version of Pebble, you get the same for that, plays a lot different than the Crosby Clambake version of Pebble. Pitch to Fernandez. And Tony strikes out. So Petrie got him with a full count fastball, swinging. So 2 out for Garcia. Damaso 1 for 2. He has singled, scored, and struck out. And now we have a rain delay. 51 minutes. So we hope you enjoyed Al Red Sox fan and the Three Stooges visit the laundromat. Yeah, it's perfect. The Sunday pin positions at Augusta just made you smile. I love how the flag is specific for Augusta as well. So Petrie stays in the game. Garcia in the left center. Lemon going way back there. That ball is well struck, but it'll stay in the yard, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, a long rain delay, and no errors. Bottom of the 4th here in Detroit, 6-3 Toronto. So it's 73 now, and that wind is still in there at 16 from left center. So here's Noakes. He's 0 for 1. And Noakes draws the walk. We'll see how long Steve gets left in the game. It says his pitch count is 95. We can probably get another inning out of Petrie. Larry Herndon walked and scored. I'm not responsible. Again, make sure that you buy your kids something besides Crocs. And then you can buy that. Is it 82? Yeah, money. I wish they would put the seasons on sale. I bought 86, and I thought about doing a season. It's all my fault. You've talked to my wife, then. Pitch to Herndon. Larry strikes out. Steve got him on a 2-2 swinging. And there's 1 out for Coles, who walked and scored. 6-3 Toronto here. 1 out, bottom of the 4th. Last year was all Al's fault. So am I expecting nasty grams from your wife then? Pitch to Coles. Darnell, slow ground ball to third. Mullenix might actually have two here if he hurries. Garcia for one, no throw to first. Well, the throw was late, rather, and so it's a fielder's choice, 5-4. Brings up Trammell. Steve, third time through the lineup. After 18 batters, 73 pitches, 3 2/3, 2 hits. The home run to Evans. Okay, yeah, I agree. He walked 4 and struck out 3. If I remember correctly, ASG 1 came out this time of year, and I splurged. I spent the entire $198. I had to get permission from the First National Bank of Wifey to do it. But yeah, that game is paid off for. I wish it wasn't so expensive. I really do. I like both the golf games, both that and Action PC, but there really is something special about it. Pitch to Trammell. Got him. So Steve is got him through 4. After 4, 6-3, Toronto. So Petrie to face Mosby, Bell, and Barfield. Lloyd has walked and struck out and scored. He's 0 for 1. Well, remember when the game came out? That's all you could get with the decade sets. If you like the seasons better, at some point we might do a season for that. I'm really liking playing as myself, though. And if I did use myself in a decade set, it would be the 90s. Because that's just the right age I would be. The problem is there's no Tiger in that set. Pitch to Mosby. And there's a ground ball to Evans. Darrell will take it himself. And let it roll foul, 2-2. Yeah, I mean, with the courses are well done. Obviously, you got to buy Oak Hill. Since you and Mr. Solinsky are from Rochester. Mosby swings, ground ball to the mound. Petrie towards first, gets him. So 1 out for Bell, who's 0 for 2. We never talk about what we're actually streaming here. I mean, the other day we talked about the Red Sox, and today we're talking about golf. Petrie delivers, and there's a pop-up. Trammell on the wet grass. That's a rainmaker. We don't need any more of that. And he makes the catch for the second out here in the top of the 5th. 6-3 Jays. Barfield has singled, homered, and then nearly started a fight. Yeah, you need to... Yeah, especially if you played Harbor Town. Oak Hill. I got to make sure I have Oak Hill. In the center field, Lemon goes back and will make the catch. And hey, halfway home on a Thursday afternoon, an eventful game here in Detroit. It's the Jays 6, the Tigers 3. Well, if you joined us late, here's how we got here. The mid-80s Blue Jays lead the Tigers 6-3. Thanks for that. Jesse Barfield, a 3-run homer in the first off of Jack Morris to make it 3-0 Toronto. Then Ernie Witt chased Jack Morris with another 3-run homer, this time in the third to make it 6-0. And then with Morris disposed of, the Tigers fought back. Lou Whitaker, an RBI fielder's choice to make it 6-1, and Darrell Evans, a 2-run shot to make it 6-3. We also had a 51-minute rain delay here. And so Steve probably close to done with that rain delay. If he can pitch the 5th, he can get credit for the win. Jack Morris, oh my goodness gracious. There is a cleanup in aisle 5 after that performance. 2 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned to 2 homers. And then Petrie had the unfortunate fortune of being on the mound when the rain delay hit, but he went 2 1/3 scoreless. So here's Whittaker. He is 0 for 2 with an RBI. He swings in a ground ball to Upshaw. Steve goes over to first. Oh, Upshaw's taking it himself, and that might have been a mistake. No, they barely got him. He should have thrown to Steve's because Steve was by the bag, and Upshaw just took it himself. And Sparky and Whittaker say something, and the replay is going to show that that was the right call. But that was dangerously close. Mike says, I went through my old pictures and found some I took at the 89 Open at Oak Hill. He was there all week. You were 15. Had a blast. Hometown being the center of the golf universe at the time was a cool feeling. I would hope, considering who won that Open, that you are a Curtis Strange fan. That Sunday, that Father's Day, was the, to bring it back to baseball, was the day the Mets got Juan Samuel from the Phillies, I think. Pitch to Evans. Darrell 1 for 2, and that's laced into right center for a base hit. So Evans, who homered his last time up, is now 2 for 3. Here's Gibby, who got hit by a pitch. So he and Steve are snarling at each other as we get set here for battle. Kirk struck out and got hit by a pitch. He's got enough body armor on to make a Klingon proud right now. And Witt reminds Steve not to throw at Kirk's head. Steve ignores him and struck him out. A full count fastball outside on the black, and Steve doesn't care about the win. He just shuts Gibson up. Here comes Jeff Musselman. And we got a pitching change with 2 out here in the 5th. This game coming to you from Tiger Stadium in downtown Detroit. So Musselman, the 87-ish version, 24 years old, a fastball pitcher at 92. 6-2 with 2 saves and an earned run average of 456. 47 1/3 innings, 42 hits, 4 homers, walking 30 and striking out 29. And again, the rain delay shortened that a bunch. Parrish has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. Evans on first, 2 out, bottom of the 5th. And Parrish strikes out. Musselman got him, and that'll take care of the Tigers. No runs, a hit. They have left on 5 after 5, 6-3 Jays. That's right, you followed Tom Watson. He chipped in on Friday at 18 to make the cut. He almost hit me with his drive on 18. He asked if everyone was okay. I told him it didn't hit me, and he said good. Oh, then you stood behind him as he punched out. You've talked about your admiration for Watson before. That's cool. We'll make up for it. We'll talk baseball on my next golf stream. So, that's enough of that. Let's go with, we got lefty, lefty, lefty. Let's bring in Frank Tanana. 14-10 with an earned run average of 402. The 87 version of Frank, who was a very crafty pitcher at that point of his career. 34 years old, fastball 85 and a ground ball. Really? A ground ball pitcher, huh? I think he got that one. Well, my remembrances of Frank Tanana was Whiplash, but anyway, 203 2/3 innings, 206 hits, 25 homers, see, Whiplash, 60 walks and 132 strikeouts. But with 3 lefties, we'll bring him in. Here's Upshaw, 2 for 2. Has singled twice and scored. All right, take care, Mike. Upshaw swings, fly ball, right field. Gibson going back, way back there, and that ball is gone. 7-3 Jays. If you're wondering about home runs in this ballpark, he's using the 85 settings for Tiger Stadium, and lefties have a plus 55% home run chance, and righties a plus 21. And this ball is just flying out of here today, despite the fact the wind is blowing in at 10 from left. So here's Witt, who also has a home run, 1 for 2, and is driven in 3. So that's the third Toronto homer, and all 7 runs have come via the long ball. There's a ground ball left side, base hit. I'm assuming I'm going to be not allowed to manage the Tigers after this. Here's Mullenix. Rance is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And Garth Org is going to pinch hit. Hi there, Matt. So party on, Garth. 286, 5 homers, and 41 RBI. That was just one of those really high ground balls. You mean something that just caught an awful lot of grass? Whee! Pitch to Org. Garth, ground ball up the middle. Should be 2. Trammell, Whittaker for 1. Loose spins, turns to first. That's 2. 6-4-3, 2 out for Collins, who was 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And Collins grounds 1 to Trammell. Allen deep in the hole. Long throw to first. And that will retire the side. So, the Jays get another run on 2 hits and no errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 7-3 Toronto. So, Musselman to face Lemon, Noakes, and Herndon. Here in the bottom of the 6th. Lemon hits a ground ball to Garcia. Throws to first for the out. So we're with you Sunday. I'm not sure for what yet. We'll figure out something. Noakes is 0 for 1 with a walk. And with the lefty on the mound. Who can hit a lefty? Helps if you look in the right column. All right, get your giggles out of the way now. Rusty Kuntz. That's Kuntz. Kuntz. 278, a homer, and 11 RBI. And don't demonetize this video for Kuntz. Struck out. Musselman washed it clean on a 1-2 fastball swung on and missed. So 2 out for Herndon, who was 0 for 1, all walk and a strikeout. And there's a ground ball to Damaso. He throws to first, and that will retire the Tigers. We go to the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors. It is 7-3 Toronto. So Fernandez, Garcia, and Mosby to face Tanana. Tony 1 for 2. He has singled and struck out. Tanana starts the 7th with a ground ball left side, base hit. It's a 10th hit for the Jays. Here's Garcia, 1 for 3. He has singled, scored, and struck out. And this might be 2. Chopper down to Cole, should be 2. Darnell goes to Whittaker for 1, and Garcia will reach as Fernandez with a rollblock slide. So 5-4 on the fielder's choice. And that brings up Mosby, who is 0 for 2. And for Lloyd, a walk, a strikeout, and a run scored. And for Lloyd again, that's the kind of day it's been. And he chops this one to third. Again, might be 2. Cole's on the grass. And he's just going to eat it. So first and second and 1 out. The grass here in the infield at Tiger Stadium has always been long. And that was to benefit the Tiger runners. And this time it came back to bite him in the bippy. That's the 11th hit for Toronto. Bell is 0 for 3, by the way. Tanana rocks and fires. Popped up left side. Coles and Herndon will call for it. And Coles makes the catch. Here's Barfield. He had a 3-run homer earlier, 2 for 3. He has scored twice. Are there any Padre fans in here? I mean, they look to be loaded next year. Unless the Dodgers can make some sort of splash, I mean, you've got to think that the Padres may be even in contention for that division, especially with Judge staying in New York. I think pretty much everyone had Judge written in erasable pen playing for the Giants. Pitch to Barfield is going to hit him. So a little tit for tat there. Barfield and Tanana just kind of exchange looks. Remember, Barfield homered earlier. That loads the bases. 2 out here in the top of the 7th for Upshaw, who had a solo shot. He's 3 for 3. He has scored twice. This one has kind of felt like a rivalry game, gang, hasn't it? And the car honking behind me would agree. Pitch to Upshaw. And he walks home the run. Garcia just slowly comes home, and it's 8 to 3. Tanana stays in the game to face Witt, who had a 3-run homer, 2 for 3 with a run scored. Dave says the Padres owner isn't afraid to spend money, that's for sure. Wondering how it all comes together on the field. I think winning kind of cures a lot of that. Go Jays, too. Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to talk about that. It's the last time a Tiger fan requests a game from me, I'm sure. Pitch to Ernie. Fly ball shallow right. Gibby coming in. Rides the Schwinn and will make the catch. And it's stretch time, 8-3 Jays. Well, the auto mod didn't like the name, but we let that one go. Didn't, as John says, didn't think I'd ever hear the name Kuntz and the word Bippy in the same stream. Well, I heard that the other night on a Fortnite stream and thought, hey, what the hey? Choi and Worley and Goldie Hawn approved. Darnell Coles is 0 for 1. He has walked and scored. Musselman starts the bottom of the 7th. Strike 3. Got him on an 0-2 fastball swung on and missed. And that brings up Trammell, who was 0 for 3 with the strikeout. Fly ball, left center field. Bell, he rang it. 2 out. And John Cerruti comes in to pitch. So Musselman, 2 great innings for the Jays. Cerruti, 87-ish version of him, 27 years old. Fastball at 88 and a fly ball pitcher. Lefty 10-4 with a save, an earned run average of 4 1/4, 148 in the 3rd innings, 147 hits, 28 home runs, 53 walks and 90 strikeouts. Whittaker is 0 for 3 and is driven in a run. 8-3 Jays here in the 8th. Whittaker slams that one into center field for a single. Fernandez, with a rare poor play, should have had it. So 2 out, only the 4th hit. So Steve Musselman and Cerruti combining here. Here's Evans. He hit a 2-run homer in the third. Darrell 2 for 3. Hits this one high and deep to right. Barfield is going to go way back, and it stay in the yard. That will stay in the yard indeed, but it will hit off the wall. Whittaker charging around third. He will score. Evans has his third RBI of the day, and it's an 8-4 game with 2 out in the 7th. And now bring up Gibson, who was 0 for 2. He has struck out twice and got hit in the head. So Gibby coming to the plate like a charged bull. And he can make this a 2-run game in a hurry. Cerruti gulps and deals. Chopper right up to the mound. Cerruti by himself. And they get... Oh, Gibson beat it out. Another play where Cerruti should have underhanded it to Upshaw. And this time, Gibson beat it out. And again, he ran down the line as if his pants were on fire. He is playing with some passion after getting nailed. And that'll bring up Parrish, who was 0 for 2, a walk and 2 strikeouts. The Tigers trying to make this a tight game. Cerruti deals. Parrish up the middle. Garcia makes the catch. And they'll leave 2 on. After 7, they get a run back on 3 hits and no errors. And we go to the 8th, 8-4 Jays. So Org, Collins, and Fernandez to face Tanana here in the 8th. And Willie Hernandez is warming. Org grounded into a double play his first time up. He pops this one up on the infield. Trammell calls for it. 1 out. Dave Collins is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Pitch from Tanana. Here's a chopper to third. Coles is going to hold on to it. And for the Tigers, or for the Blue Jays, rather, that's their 12th hit. 8-12-0 for Toronto. They've left on 4. The Tigers, 4 runs, 6 hits an error, and they've left on 7. And here comes Willie Hernandez. Willie circa 1984. So based off his Cy Young season and his MVP season. 29 years old. A ground ball pitcher. And that fastball will top out at 91. 8-6. 32 saves. An earned run average of 226. 123 2/3. 89 hits. 10 homers. 25 walks and 94 strikeouts. Collins will go back to first. Hernandez fires it over. And Collins is back. The other day when I did the Gaylord Perry stream, the Twitch would not allow me to use the name Gaylord. I had to take out the A, and that was fine. 1 out, pitch to Fernandez. There's a base hit into right field. Gibson will pick it up. And Collins is going to hold at second. So first and second, 1 out for Garcia. Damaso 1 for 4. He has scored twice and struck out. First and second, Hernandez deals. Little chopper down to Trammell. Whittaker, nope, he's going to go right for Garcia, and that's the out. So everyone else moves up 90. And there's 2 out for Mosby, who is 1 for 3. He has walked, struck out, and scored. It'll be Lemon, the rusty one, and Herndon in the bottom of the 8th for Detroit. Hernandez, if he can hold us to an 8-4 lead, gives the Tigers a chance. Mosby to Hernandez. And he throws over to first, and that's exactly what Willie does. So no runs, 2 hits, they leave on 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 8-4, Jays. So Lemon, Kuntz, and Herndon. Chet 1 for 3. So Rudy, I can't imagine he's going to close this one out. Lemon popped up. Center field, Mosby, 1 out. Here's Rusty. He struck out his first time up. You'd have thought about the third time someone gave him grief about his name that he might have changed it. That's a fly ball. Center field. Mosby coming in. 2 out for Larry Herndon. Larry is 0 for 2. He has walked and struck out. Herndon, left field. Bell, foul territory in the corner, and will make the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 9th. 8-4 Toronto. So Bell, Barfield, and Upshaw to face Willie Hernandez. I gotta ask, gang, how much luck have you had with Jack Morris in your replays? He did not pitch well for the Tigers in '85 in mine, and I think it's one of the reasons why Detroit fell out of it. And again, boy, did he not pitch well today. So what say you guys? What luck have you had with Jack Morris? Pitch to Bell, who's 0 for 4. Hard ground ball to Trammell. Allen wings it over to first for the out. So 1 out for Barfield. Jesse, one of the 3 Toronto homers today. He is 2 for 3. And Hernandez got him on a 1-2 on the outside corner. Got him on the fastball. Here's Upshaw. Willie, 3 for 3. A pretty good day. A 2-run homer. He has scored twice and walked. 8-13-0 for Toronto. It was 6 left on. 4-6-1 for the Tigers, who've left on 7. Pitch to Upshaw. In the left center. Lemon going back. But it's a big ballpark, and that will retire the side. So the Jays go down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 9th here at Tiger Town on the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. 8-4 Jays. Dave, who plays Pursue the Pennant, says nothing memorable for me. His cards have been consistent to his stats. So Coles, 0 for 2. He has walked, scored, and struck out. And Coles laces this one into right field for a base hit. He's digging for 2. The throw from Barfield, not in time, and Darnell leads off the 9th with a double. Here's Trammell. He's 0 for 4 with a strikeout. I'd have to look what his numbers were. He walked a lot of batters in '85, and that's where he got into trouble. Dave says his 92 card did outperform his 6 ERA. In real life, the Jays' offense was so great, and so that helped. Brad says anyone who played recent seasons in Strat, what kind of D rating? Oh, does Boga? Brad's changing the subject. I don't think he'll be a 1. I don't know what his E rating will be. Of course, I think in advanced Strat and super advanced, that matters a bit more than what his pure rating is. You in a draft league in Strat, Brad? Pitch to Trammell. Got him. So a full count fastball on the outside corner. Been a few years. Okay. Whittaker 1 for 4. RBI single and a run scored. I would think that those big ballparks of the National League West would help out that defense a lot. Although he wasn't a bad glove by any stretch. One second here. I think I might be able to answer that. Well, last year, as we crossed the streams here for Brad, he was a 4E10. So that's his card from 2021. But he will draw his fair share of walks. But defensively, that's not a good card. I was thinking probably a 2. Depends on what his error rating is. All right, so we've crossed the streams here. It's amazing how we can do that. Whittaker 1 for 4. I think I told you that already. 1 out. Cole's on second. Pitch to Lou. Struck him out. Cerruti is down to 1 out. Last chance saloon here is Darrell Evans. He is 3 for 4. He can't hit a triple or else he'd hit for the cycle. A homer and 3 RBI. I wouldn't have thought he was a 4. But a 4E10 he was in 21. Pitch to Evans. There's a line drive right center. That's going to get down for a hit. Mosby picks it up. Coles will round third. Mosby's throw is going to go home, but it'll be late, and so it's 8-5. And again, here comes Gibson. Gibby 1 for 3. He has struck out twice. He's not in the tying run, but he can make this game awful interesting in an awful big hurry. 2 out, bottom of the ninth. 8-5. Jays lead. Cerruti, deep breath. And he walks Gibson. And so here comes the tying run is Lance Parrish, who is 0 for 3. He has walked once and struck out twice. And so it's 8-5 Toronto. And Parrish is the tying run at the plate. Cerruti stays in the game. Ground ball to first. It's going to work out. Upshaw by himself. And the Jays will beat the Tigers by the score of 8-5. So not a bad game at all. 8 runs, 13 hits, no errors. The Jays left on 6. 5 runs, 8 errors, or 8 hits and an error, and they left on 9. And Jack Morris takes a loss, 2 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 2 homers, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. He faced 15 batters. John says he's probably, Bogarts is a 2-11 next year. That'd be quite the jump from a 4 to a 2. Dan Petrie, 2 1/3, good innings. Frank Tanana, he pitched, and Willie Hernandez did Willie Hernandez things. But how about John Cerruti? Held on there. The rain delay kind of hurt Steve's chances. We're going to give Jesse Barfield the Digital Dice Player of the Game, 2 for 4, 3 RBI. So that'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll talk to you Sunday for something. Not quite sure what yet. A final score here from Detroit. It's the Blue Jays 8, the Tigers 5. Have a good afternoon, everybody. So long.